Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Josh here, and today we're talking about Josh's debt. One of the things this year, in the good old year of 2025, that I thought I might as well tackle. I just turned 30, right? Might as well get behind this while I can. Is my debt, to take out all my debt. As you can see, with all these massive numbers here, how much debt I have or had. I've paid a lot of this down now, guys. The things that were already paid off from last time in this video are these circled things here, right? That was just to kind of easily identify. I didn't want to mark out because I still wanted to be able to explain for the video. However, let's kind of really circle some more things here, guys. Okay, because we really want to. We really want to wrap this up, right? We want to get all of this behind us. Ain't that right? I'd say so, guys. Okay, so what we got paid off next from the last video were the loans. We went ahead and we knocked out all of the loans. Every loan I had, which I want to say it was this guy and this guy. I'm pretty sure these two are the ones I paid off. I already had these paid off. Yeah, I'm really excited. And this right here isn't actually a loan. It is actually my tax, what I owe for taxes. So I'm gonna put tax because I don't want to think that I owe taxes. I'm just gonna pretend I owe taxes. Look at that amount. We already see how massive that amount is. We want that gone and wrapped up by next year's filing time, because by next year's filing time, if we can get that number wrapped up plus what we owe, guess what? Everything else is wiped out and we're good to go. Okay. Now, after discussing loans, all the regular loans are paid off. This is what I owe to the government, right? I got a payment plan with the government. Been paying them off for a little while now, but they also charge interest, guys, just like all of these other loans and credit cards. They all charge interest. Okay, so when you owe debt and you can't afford to pay it back, or you can't utilize the money that you have to pay it off, it might be too risky, you might be blowing too much of your money, you don't want to do it, you're going to get charged with interest on your purchases, guys. So if you're not using these cards and paying them off in full when that statement's due and or before, you're going to get tacked on with interest on your payments, and your purchases. You know what I'm saying? Because that's ultimately what your payments turn into, is interest on purchases that turn into payments. Okay, and it's unfortunate. It really is, guys. Where I'm at right now, I got a 2,000, a 2,300, a 3,450, a 4,686. And you can see these interest rates: 31%, 29%, 29%, 29%. And that's more than borrowing against, a fourth year money. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that keeps you poor, man. I mean, it's kept me poor for a long time. I'm 30 years old right now, and I'm going to break it down after all this is done and clear, because I want to really talk about the struggles of this and how hard it is to get ahead when you're constantly stuck making debt payments, when really your money should be working for you. And that's what we're ultimately going to grow this channel to be, is how to not just get out of debt, but how to make money when you're out of debt. Okay. There's a lot of things that I've done along the way to be able to rack up debt in the first place. So I've learned a lot of mistakes, and I'm also learning a lot of things while paying off debt. And I'm going to learn even more things while trying to make money without debt. Okay. And we're just going to talk about those things. And I'm going to talk about how interest rates, can hurt you. I'm going to talk about how debt can hurt you. And I'm also going to talk about, in my own little lifetime that I've acquired debt, I'm going to see if I can backtrack, whether it be the last year, the last 5 years, how much money I've made in interest payments alone to money that I borrowed, essentially, on interest. okay? And let's see how much money I could have potentially had in my pocket, but instead it went to companies like these, okay? And I'm the one at fault, right? Like, as a human being, you have to be able to make the critical decision to say that I caused this problem. My actions and what I did caused this problem to acquire this debt. You have to take full responsibility of your debt portfolio in the same way that you would have to take full responsibility of a stock portfolio. You have to own what you own. And debt, when it's borrowed money, it's tied to you. How? How is it tied to you? Your credit profile, right? And that credit profile tracks you when you go to borrow more money. Because why? You're a risky lender potentially. You borrow too much money. You might be missing payments. You could be, just having too many credit inquiries, too many hard inquiries, and your score's dropping like crazy, and then you get a crappy interest rate, and you're paying, hundreds and hundreds of more dollars than you should be, when you could have a lower interest rate when you borrowed the money in the first place if you knew what you were doing. Okay? And I'm not saying I don't know what I'm doing. However, guys, as you can clearly see, I acquired way too much debt, and it was robbing me of my money, okay? It was burning a hole in my pocket. You know how they say when you got money, it's just burning a hole in your pocket? Well, hey, guess what? Sometimes when you don't got money, guess what it's going to do? It's going to burn a freaking hole in that pocket. So you can either let the money burn in reverse, as in it can be taken from you, or you can let that money burn going forward. Get in a path going forward. And you can make money off of your money. When you're constantly owing debt, you can't make money off of that unless it's things of value like mortgages and somebody's paying on that debt, and stocks and other things like that. What I got going on right here, not healthy debt at all. None of it. None of this is healthy debt. I have to go and create healthy debt at a later date when I have a credit profile that looks spectacular, that has all of my things utilized and tracking in a logical manner that is respectable to somebody that has high credit. You have to be able to do the things that get you to high credit, right? And ultimately, once the debt is gone for me, that's what I get to experience in, because I've been experiencing debt for so long that you could say that it's almost soul crushing to every time you get paid to know that money's coming in, but in the same breath it's going to be coming out just as fast. And you know why? And what's haunting about it, guys, is you could have the debt, right? Acquire it not just a year ago, not just 2 years ago, like on credit cards, but you could pay it off, and then something happens, right? Something goes wrong, and then you rack that joker back up, and then you got to pay it off, and then it's like you're stuck in the cycle to where you can't get out of the debt, and then you start borrowing from different avenues, right? And for me, there's a reason that happened to me. Especially towards the end of me selling my house, right? I went through a process with selling my house, and that, unfortunately, because we were working on it and we were also living in another house paying rent, I was double jointed, you know what I'm saying? And when I say double jointed, I don't mean double jointed in the good way where it's like, oh my God, look, he's double jointed. Like, you didn't want to be double jointed at that time, because you had to support two things that ultimately weren't balanced. You know what I'm saying? Like that money going in, that money going, paying a mortgage, paying rent. Oh my God. In 2025, guys, I sold my house while paying rent and a mortgage. And ultimately, it caused me a lot of debt to be able to get through, to make purchases, to be able to fix things, to be able to adjust things, to be able to make things look prim and proper, to be able to pay for things, to be able to run it on the credit to be able to slide by to make a sell of a house in 2025. And at least in my area, it wasn't really a seller's market. It was a buyer's market, and you had to meet buyer's demands in some cases. And thankfully, the price that I put up was a fair and honest, a equivalent price to something that would sell for the price I was listing. And thankfully, I had a bit of a breakthrough with, the money that I had received. And thankfully, that is what's going to, it ultimately fronted a good portion of this debt payoff, okay? So all of this is acquired for the most part. Not all of it, but the majority of it is acquired from renting and having a mortgage and trying to fix and, sell a house that you lived in for a period of time. And then to be able to make that into a reality of selling it and then just being in the one property. And guys, it's only been around 3 months now, and I plan to be pretty much debt free from everything other than the tax man by 2026. And then in 2026, like the snap of my fingers, we will be out of debt. Credit cards, loans, tax man, everybody's going to be in line, and I'm just going to be knocking on the door. And I'm going to say, let me out. And I know that sounds backwards, because why am I knocking on a door to be let out? Because I didn't want to be let in there. I didn't want to be let in this debt trap, okay? I've been shouting. I've been screaming. I've been resenting the purchases made, the things done, the decisions that happened, how we got here for a long, long time. And I can't tell you exactly how I feel about getting out of debt because it overjoys me, but I can tell you that I've taken it very personally for quite a while. And to be out of debt and to have money that's going to not just, be able to grow, but be able to work for me instead of it working against me, guys, that is one of the things that's on my mind for 2026. And my message to you is get out of debt. Don't sit here and fall for the trap of buying things that you don't need and trying to live a life that's, beyond your means, okay? Settle where you are and grow from there, okay? Because right now, if I could choose to be debt-free or have all this, guess what? I'm debt-free, because this is for the birds. And speaking about the birds, I'm going to go ahead and fly this one out of here. I'm going to speak to you guys in about a month on this, because this is going to take a little bit longer than just a weekly update. Now, in between now and later, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and if you want to see anything, if you want any tips about anything, or maybe just a different conversation, something you guys want to be talked about, go ahead and leave a comment, and just tell me what you think, because honestly, I've been itching to talk, and it feels great. All right, Josh out. Peace.